2024 has come and gone, and turned out to be a really solid year for video games. I normally don't buy a whole lot of new releases within the year they come out, but the last 12 months more than ever, I played quite a fair few of them. So why not jump at the opportunity to join this echo chamber that we call the internet, and make a games recommendation video of my own. Let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I'm well aware it's buried. And no, this isn't a late April Fool's joke either. The real fool is me for thinking this video was going to be done in January. Now obviously, I'm only one guy, I can't play everything, so there's bound to be plenty of titles that I haven't gotten around to trying yet, and therefore won't be appearing in this video. So if you'll allow, let's do a real quick rapid fire list of some games that I would have liked to have included, but just haven't gotten the time to try out just yet. Black Myth Wukong, Mario and Luigi Brothership, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Another Crab's Treasure, Dragon's Dogma 2, Helldivers 2, Hades 2, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, and no, I haven't played Balatro yet. Just one last thing before the Yap Fest begins, I just want to make it perfectly clear that this isn't supposed to be a top 10 or a tier list or anything of that sort. This is just an unorganized video of me gasbagging about the games I played last year and really enjoyed. So without any further ado, these are my favorite games of 2024. Let's kick things off with Stellar Blade. From day one, I always sort of saw this as just another one of those overhyped AAA releases. You know the ones that get announced way too early, has an insane amount of hype behind it, eventually comes out years later to mid-reception and then fades into obscurity with people questioning why they were even excited for it in the first place. But no, this game slaps. The combat is without a doubt the highlight for me. I struggled with it a lot at first and was constantly getting my ass kicked. But once you wrap your head around it, these are some of the most fun and satisfying battles I've ever had the joy of playing. Like this game's parry, man, it's just... Mwah! Perfecto! The open world can admittedly feel a little barren and repetitive at times, and a lot of the side content is very tedious, but the more linear style missions were great, and there was more often than not an awesome boss fight waiting around every corner. It's also pretty damn impressive considering that Shift Up primarily focused on mobile games prior to this, and I'm pleased to say that their first shot at a big budget AAA release is nothing short of impressive. The only thing I have to fault Stellar Blade for is its story. This game features one of the biggest snorefests of a plot I've ever had to sit through. And the characters too, man, they're all just so vapid and devoid of soul.
How dull.
With all that aside though, if you had a blast with games like Metal Gear Rising, Devil May Cry 5, or even Sekiro, I'd say give this one a shot. It's a bit rough around the edges and can take a little while to really get going, but overall, awesome game. Awesome game. This is like sensory overload, the game. I feel like no words can properly express just how much fun Mullet MadJack is. I liked this game a lot. The premise is simple. You have 10 seconds to live, and you regain a second every time you game end something. Clock's ticking, start blasting. It's just so easy to get sucked into, and the game is instantly addictive. You almost reach this flow-like state while shredding through the levels, which seems kind of oxymoronic to say out loud with all this carnage on screen, but trust me on this one. I have never been more relaxed. This game has a perfect deadly blend between Ultra Kill, Super Hot, and Classic Doom. As a result, I can easily see this being one of those games you just boot up every now and then to blow off some steam. With that said, Mullet MadJack can be pretty damn challenging, but I never found it to be unfair. It hits that sweet spot of being just hard enough to the point where you know you're so close and want to keep trying again and again. Case in point. By now, I'm sure it goes without saying that this game looks and sounds spectacular. The retro OVA theme coupled with those 80s synth and saxophone beats? Like, bro, it's like this game was made specifically for me. This isn't even a recommendation at this point. You need to play Mullet MadJack. I can promise you, you will not regret it. I was not expecting to enjoy this one as much as I did. Massive congrats to Team Asobi for winning Game of the Year with this one. Absolutely deserved. Astro Bot was just an absolute joy to play. This game just instantly brought me back to my childhood. I used to play tons of action platformers just like this growing up. There's not an inch of this game that wasn't given truckloads of love, care, and attention to detail. Every single level is wonderfully designed, and there wasn't a single moment where I wasn't having fun playing. Obviously, the game is chock full of fun nods and references to PlayStation's history, and there's even a bunch of specialized stages directly inspired by PlayStation's IPs. Astro Bot's Horizon level is better than both games, by the way. Don't at me, we all know it's true. Probably most impressive of all, this is the most acknowledgement Bloodborne has gotten from Sony since the game came out. In 2015. 10 years ago. This is the most we're getting, isn't it? Every now and then I think to myself, why the f did I lose sleep trying to buy one of these things? Well, if we keep getting games with the same amount of love and care as Astro Bot, I'll hopefully be able to put that thought to rest. Truthfully, I wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into starting up 1000 Times Resist. But holy shit, dude, this game made me feel emotions I didn't even know I had. I can't lie, I was ready to bounce right off this one when I heard the words glorified visual novel being thrown around, but boy am I glad I didn't let that rob me of this experience. 1000 Times Resist masterfully balances a story with aspects that are both incomprehensible and cryptic to somber and gut-wrenchingly relatable. Just when you think you've got this game's story figured out, it viciously pulls the rug just when you've let your guard down. And then it does it again. The visual novel descriptor is more or less true, as there really isn't much on offer here when it comes to gameplay, but it doesn't really need that to be perfectly honest, and the game never set out to do that in the first place. The story takes center stage here. Do I even need to mention the visuals on display here? Like, whoa. I've never been more enamored by such beautifully bizarre otherworldly imagery. It really is a feast for the eyes. There's not much more I can say about this game without giving things away, but know this. The team at Sunset Visitor have managed to create an experience with that rare ability to grip you from its opening moments and not let go until you've rolled credits. Those of you who are looking to get lost in a world nothing like ours with rich storytelling, captivating visuals, and beautifully written characters and themes, please treat yourself to this masterpiece. This definitely takes the cake for the weirdest game I played all year. It's Slovakian Monty Python. It's Undertale made for Europeans. It's Earthbound, but your wife left you because you're an alcoholic. It's Felvidek. You play as Pavel, a drunken knight on a noble quest to save his cheating wife from a cult that turns people into monsters with magic coffee beans. Felvidek! That's the most I can say without spoiling anything major, but trust me, this is one you're gonna want to experience for yourself. This game has such a unique look to it. I fucking adore the art direction here. The acid rock soundtrack is killer. There is not one track in this game that isn't a certified bop. From the melancholic town theme, the smooth as hell bar, and one ripper of a battle theme. On the topic of battles, this game definitely knows its shit. You're looking at a somewhat rudimentary JRPG here, but since there's no leveling system, you're encouraged to pick your fights and approach them wisely. In turn, making every fight feel like a triumph, and man does it never get old. There are so many standout RPG Maker games coming out these days, but this is one you definitely don't want to miss. Especially if you're a lover of classic JRPGs. For only $11, this game deserves to be played. Felvidek! Never thought I'd see the day where I can once again wholeheartedly recommend a 3D Sonic game, but holy shit, 13 plus years later, here we are. At first I was fully expecting this to be nothing too grand, just a skin swap of Sonic Generations with crappy Forces/Frontiers level design. I've never been happier to be wrong. Shadow Generations is honestly some of Sonic Team's best work in quite a while. There are some really fun levels on offer here that I've been replaying relentlessly. Shadow's new Doom power-ups added some much needed variety to the boost formula. And most surprising of all, The boss fights were amazing. Dare I say, some of the best the series offers. Shadow himself controls fantastically, never felt too heavy or too light, and the improved animation style both in gameplay and in the cutscenes looked fantastic. You could look at this entry as cheating, seeing as it's literally half of an expanded re-release, but I don't care. Shadow Generation sets an excellent new standard for 3D Sonic titles going forward, and there is a lot here for both newcomers and longtime fans to enjoy. If you're chronically online like myself, you've probably noticed analog horror has been on the rise these last few years, so it was inevitable that the genre would eventually find its way into video games. And amongst the few I've tried, Home Safety Hotline perfectly scratched that itch for me. On surface level, this game might look kinda boring, but do not be fooled. It's certainly one of those games where the less you know about it, the better experience you're gonna have. Another pretty simple premise here. You work as a clerk for the Home Safety Hotline. Customers will call you up reporting various anomalies around the house, and it's up to you to figure out what the issue is. This can range from a simple termite infestation, to these little guys rearranging your home, to the f***ing back rooms showing up in your basement, and a tree that steals your kids.
Requesting backup, we got a sus Twitch streamer.
The game is so good at building unease throughout. You'll find yourself questioning just who to trust and whether or not some callers are even people to begin with. The whole late 90s desktop setup with these neat little aesthetic touches really make for an immersive experience. I'm sure this will hit home for a lot of people if you've ever worked in a call center or if you're familiar with staring at emails for 8 hours a day. Home Safety Hotline isn't that long and not at all that difficult, but I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely a great game for you and some buddies to put your heads together and try and solve all the anomalies. Yeah, I played this game over Discord. I took one look at this and bitched out. This series has poisoned me. I love Persona, so of course this was going to end up on my list. This is a remake I honestly thought would never happen, but Persona 3 Reload is an incredible game and an even better reimagining of the PS2 classic. While pretty much a one-to-one remake of its 06 counterpart, P3R injects so many new ideas of its own, helping keep the experience fresh yet familiar. We've got that style and flair we've come to expect from the series at this point, essentially Persona 5-ifying P3. The new renditions of the original OST and the brand new tracks are all god tier. The refined battle system was sleek and satisfying to master. Tartarus is nowhere near as tedious as it used to be thanks to all the new additions and refinements. Juggling all of your social links is as excitingly stressful as ever. I really came to love these guys all over again thanks to the amazing performances by their VAs. There's just so much to love about this game. Quite honestly, I think Persona 3 Reload makes for a great entry point to the series for newcomers. And even for returning fans like myself, this game is well worth the 90-hour runtime. No, I didn't stutter. Call your family, call your boss, call your friends. You're gonna be off the grid for a while. There's a fair bit of discussion online these days about whether or not survival horror is as good as it used to be. Whatever side of the fence you're on, Crow Country is an indisputable love letter to the genre. I was holding out for this one for a while. As soon as I saw the low-poly Final Fantasy VII inspired graphics, I just knew I had to play it. The whole game just looks super charming and will really hit home for those of us who did grow up with a late 90s game console. In true survival horror fashion, resource management is key and almost every encounter is classically clunky. Just like the good old days. Exploration and keeping a close eye on your surroundings are both heavily encouraged and very rewarding throughout. The puzzles are all very clever and satisfying to solve, and there was a fun little story to uncover, full of camp and corny moments as well. Again, just like the good old days.
That was too close. You were almost a jibble sandwich.
My only real critique is that most enemies can quickly become a bit of a joke and pose little to no threat to the player. Especially when you've built up your arsenal a bit more, most encounters just become a lot less tense. It's also another game with a pretty short runtime, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a fulfilling couple of hours. I highly recommend Crow Country, and I'm very excited to see more from the team behind it. Anyway, while we're on the topic of survival horror, I am over the moon to be wrong about this one. We all know the story by now, how little faith everyone had in this remake from day one. Can't exactly blame everyone, but Silent Hill 2 Remake really is that good. Bloober Team have managed to capture the look and feel of the original game near 1-to-1, while simultaneously painting it in a hauntingly beautiful new light. I was blown away with the visuals and sound design, and with a good pair of headphones, it truly does feel like you're right there in this nightmare alongside everyone.
It startled me.
The exploration had me hooked, the gameplay loop was constantly engaging, and I know a lot of people aren't a fan, but I personally liked the way James handled in this game. The combat was tense and always gave off that exhilarating risk-reward feeling throughout. All the puzzles are thought-provoking as you'd come to expect, the acting and new cutscenes were super well done, and I love the way that some of the characters were rewritten. This game is a true ray of hope for the future of Silent Hill. It sets a promising new standard and a well-deserved reinvigoration for the series that we've all come to love. As long as Bloober Team keep working on the franchise, I don't know if I trust Konami buying bread and milk.
Not to worry, FireAntoniyo. You can always trust me.
I'm pretty picky with my Metroidvanias. I got a decent way through Hollow Knight before realizing, hey, this isn't for me. But somehow, 9 Souls managed to tick all the right boxes for me. I played Detention, a psychological point-and-click horror by the same guys earlier last year. When I was done, I saw that they had a demo for 9 Souls available, so I played it, and from that point on, fell in love with it. This game is just so smartly designed, with tons of secrets to find and intertwining pathways to explore. The combat is outright addicting, and was probably my favorite aspect of the game. It's just so smooth, sleek, and very satisfying. There's a huge emphasis on parrying and clever combos here, so I was hooked from the start. You've probably noticed by now that I'm a sucker for a good art style. God damn does this game deliver. This is some beautifully done hand-drawn artwork, and the vibrant color palette really makes everything pop all the more. I'm stoked to see more from the folks at Red Candle Games. So far, all of their games are certified bangers in my eyes. Yes, even the one we can't buy on Steam anymore because of this little guy. Again, technically I'm cheating with this entry, but I still don't care enough. If Jeff Keighley was trying to sneak this one in for Game of the Year, then guess what? So can I. If you're like me and obliterated hours of your life with Elden Ring over the last 3 years, you're gonna lose hundreds more with Shadow of the Erdtree. After 2 years in development, this expansion blew all my expectations out of the water. Like, this beast is essentially an entire new fucking game. Look at the size of this map! I just knew I was in for a wild ride when 2 minutes in, I got my ass handed to me by the first mini-boss. Try making friends with the screen, by the way, you're gonna see it a lot. Goes without saying that the entire journey is brutal, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I was in the camp of initially being worried that I'd be too over-leveled for the DLC. Boy, was I ever happy to be funnel-fed a lethal amount of cope. The new areas were just as enjoyable to explore as the ones in the base game, and are downright gorgeous to boot. There were so many instances where I just had to stop and take in all my surroundings. All the new weapons, armor sets, enemy types were great and kept things fresh throughout my playtime, but let's not forget to mention the bosses. No amount of accolades are gonna do this expansion justice. Shadow of the Erdtree is everything I could have wanted from Elden Ring DLC, and so much more. Well worth the wait. Torture yourself with this one if you haven't already. And now there's even more Elden Ring on the way. I will sell my fucking soul to this man if it means more games in the series. Alright, so yeah, I gave into the peer pressure with this one. Everyone was raving on about MiSide, so I had to at least give it a look and see what all the fuss was about.
I could have saved you.
You think you know what you're in for with this one? You see the Steam tags and think, well, here we go again, some kind of .exe type shit. But no, this has to be one of the most creative takes on the genre that I've seen in a while. Just hear me out, okay? I swear this is a horror game. There's a lot of variety within its relatively short runtime too. Look, it's a horror game. Now you're racing. It's a horror game again. Now you're playing Quake. It's still a horror game. Fucking tic-tac-toe, really? It's a horror game again. Oh shit, PT? The game also has a really fun mind-bending meta-narrative that I think a lot of people are gonna love. And hey, look, if the story's not really your thing, there's plenty of anime women to keep your zoomer attention span locked in. This was actually a super late entry to my list, as I was already knees deep into producing this video by the time I got around to playing it, but I had such a great time with it that it felt wrong not to include it. MiSide has instantly cemented itself an internet horror classic, and Mita herself fits right in with the rest of the web's favorite yanderes like Monica from Doki Doki, Amit-chan from Needy Streamer Overload, and even Miyuki from You and Me and Her.
Well, since we're on the topic of waifus, let's not forget to mention Ice Spice from Fortnite. She's my favorite yandere.
It's super easy to write this one off as Persona, but set in a high fantasy setting with hot elf chicks. But I think I speak for most by saying that's doing metaphor ReFantazio a massive disservice. The elf chicks are still hot though. This new world Atlas has created is so expansive, whether it's dungeons to tackle, quests to conquer, ranking up your bonds, leveling up your classes, or even just following the story, there's always something to do, and it always feels like you're making progress. The battles have never felt more engaging, and have a great blend between what we've come to love from Persona, but with some DNA from the SMT series too. Not to mention, the game can be pretty damn tough at times, but hey, I'll always welcome that with open arms. But like, dude, this battle theme. It's like Slim Shady from the Middle Ages, I love it. I'm still chipping my way through this one as we speak, to be honest, but so far, I'm absolutely enthralled with what we've got. It's an exciting new IP from Atlas that not only fans of their past work will love, but even folks from other big RPG franchises too, like fans of Final Fantasy. And on that note, I know I said this video was in no particular order, but I wanted to save this one for last. I sunk hours into Final Fantasy VII Remake back in 2020 and was desperately excited for the follow-up. So imagine my surprise when Persona 3 Reload and this game launched mere weeks apart from one another.
I'm in the obituaries?
Being a remake slash reimagining, of course there's tons of callbacks and nods to the original, but seeing as all they pretty much had to go off of was this, the game has so much new life injected into it, reintroducing the world of Gaia to a whole new audience. They really honed in on the combat system. It's somehow even better this time around. I really thought 7 Remake was going to be hard to top, but man, this rips. Every battle felt like a playground, thanks to all the new maneuvers and team-up attacks. It was just so much fun seeing what kind of deadly combos you could cook up for each fight. Above all though, I just had fun exploring the world, taking in all the breathtaking locales, tackling all the side content, and falling in love with the cast of characters all over again. Though, like Metaphor, I'm still chipping my way through this one, but even just talking about it in this video, I'm itching to jump back into it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth exceeded all my expectations and is truly one of Square's best additions to the series thus far. Just kidding! The real star of this segment is Queen's Blood. Love this game! I don't need Balatro. Crazy to think they packaged a whole ass RPG with my card game. Get absolutely rolled, mate! And that was my 2024. Like I said, very unorganized video, but I played so many new releases last year that it just felt like the perfect opportunity to share my thoughts with you all. As you're all aware, there are just far too many games coming out these days that it's quite literally impossible to play them all. So I want to quickly mention that there were 2 games that I almost included in this video, but just felt like I haven't had quite enough time with them yet, like the long-awaited Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and Keylocker, a cyberpunk turn-based action game, both of which I'm loving, but definitely need a few more sessions with. But please, I'd love to hear what you all think, so leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and even a few game recommendations of your own if you fancy. I'd love to open up the conversation. Anyway, I've got a shitload of games in my backlog screaming for me right now, and there's even a new Doom game coming out real soon that I'm itching to jump into, so I'm gonna leave it here for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, go play some games, and I'll catch you all in the next video.
Sabrina Carpenter's in Fortnite too?